Imagine a land where the morning mist clings to emerald tea gardens like a soft velvet veil, where the rhythmic splash of a wooden oar against still backwaters provides the only soundtrack to your day, and where the air is thick with the intoxicating scent of crushed cardamom and wet earth. This is Kerala, the narrow strip of paradise on India's southwestern tip, famously known as God's own country. To step into Kerala is to enter a sensory dreamscape. You feel the humid warmth of the Arabian Sea breeze, hear the distant, haunting echo of temple bells, and see a landscape so lush it seems to vibrate with life. It is a place where ancient traditions like Kathakali and Ayurveda aren't just spectacles for tourists, but the very pulse of local life. From the high-altitude silence of the Western Ghats to the sun-drenched golden sands of its southern cliffs, Kerala offers a soul-stirring journey that feels both timeless and deeply personal. Munnar is the crown jewel of Kerala's high country, a sprawling expanse of tea plantations that carpet the rolling hills of the Western Ghats. Historically, this region was a summer resort for the British government in South India, chosen for its cool climate and mist-covered peaks. The architecture of the town still whispers of this colonial past, with quaint bungalows and stone churches nestled among the greenery. Today, Munnar remains the centre of India's tea trade, and its significance to the local identity is immense. The tea industry provides a livelihood for thousands, and the tea culture, from the meticulous picking of leaves to the aromatic brewing process, is woven into the social fabric of the town. When you visit Munnar, the experience is defined by the colour green. It is everywhere, in varying shades from lime to deep forest. You will breathe in air that is crisp, cool, and tinged with the scent of eucalyptus and fresh tea leaves. The silence of the valleys is occasionally broken by the chirping of endemic birds or the distant rush of a waterfall. Walking through the Eraviculum National Park, you might catch a glimpse of the endangered Nilgiri tahar, a mountain goat that is a symbol of the region's biodiversity. For a truly local experience, visit in the early morning when the mist is thickest, and stop at a local stall for a meter chai. Look for the Neelakurinji flowers if you are lucky enough to visit during their rare 12-year blooming cycle, which turns the entire hillside a vibrant shade of blue. Alleppey, Alappuzha. Backwaters, Alleppey, often called the Venice of the East, is the heart of Kerala's famous backwater network. Historically, these waterways served as the lifeline of the region, used for transporting rice and spices in massive wooden barges called ketuvalams. These boats were constructed without a single nail, using only coir ropes and cashew nut resin to seal the wood. Today, these heritage vessels have been transformed into luxurious houseboats, offering a slow-motion window into rural Keralan life. The backwaters are more than a tourist attraction. They are a living ecosystem where the land and water are inextricably linked, and the rice bowl of Kerala, Kutanad, showcases unique farming techniques where crops are grown below sea level. Floating through Alleppey is a meditative experience. You will hear the gentle lap of water against the hull and the rhythmic thud of women washing clothes on the stone steps of their homes. The air smells of damp earth and wood smoke from village kitchens. As your boat glides past, you see emerald green paddy fields on one side and coconut groves on the other. For a cultural insight, look for the toddy shops, small, unassuming shacks serving fermented coconut sap and fiery hot fish curry, a staple of the local diet. The best time to visit is during the monsoon for the Nehru Trophy boat race, where massive snake boats, manned by over 100 rowers, compete in a thunderous display of strength and tradition. Fort Kochi. Fort Kochi is a living museum, a coastal neighborhood that bears the thumbprints of every colonial power that once vied for control of the spice trade. It was the first European township in India, with its history shaped by the Portuguese, Dutch, and British. This multicultural heritage is visible in the architecture: the Chinese fishing nets that line the shore, the 400-year-old Jewish synagogue with its hand-painted tiles, and St. Francis Church, where Vasco da Gama was once buried. Fort Kochi matters to locals because it represents the cosmopolitan soul of Kerala, a place where different religions and cultures have coexisted peacefully for centuries. Walking through the narrow, spice-scented lanes of Mattancherry, you are enveloped in a sensory blend of the old and new. The smell of ginger and black pepper wafts from ancient warehouses, while vibrant street art decorates colonial-era walls. You will see the iconic Chinese fishing nets being lowered into the sea at sunset, a mechanical ballet that has remained unchanged for hundreds of years. Visitors should make time to watch a Kathakali performance at one of the local theatres. The elaborate makeup and dramatic storytelling are quintessential Kerala. For a hidden detail, look for the Dutch cemetery near the beach, a quiet spot that holds the stories of early European settlers. The best way to end the day is by eating fish molly at a seaside cafe, reflecting the fusion of European techniques and local spices. The Keidi, Periyar National Park. The Keidi is home to the Periyar National Park and Wildlife Sanctuary, one of India's most significant tiger and elephant reserves. Established around an artificial lake created by the Mullaperiyar Dam in 1895, the sanctuary is a masterpiece of mountain ecology. The region is the spice capital of Kerala, where the hills are thick with plantations of cardamom, pepper, and cinnamon. Culturally, the Keidi is the gateway to understanding Kerala's deep-rooted connection to the spice trade, which drew explorers like Columbus and da Gama to Indian shores. The local community is deeply involved in conservation, with many former poachers now serving as forest guards and guides. The experience at Periyar is defined by the sounds of the jungle, the trumpet of an elephant, the alarm call of a sambar deer, or the rustle of the canopy as a Malabar giant squirrel leaps between trees. Taking a boat safari on the lake allows you to see wildlife coming down to the water's edge to drink, all against a backdrop of sunken trees that rise from the water like skeletal fingers. The air is heavy with the scent of wet bark and spice. Visitors should explore the spice plantations on foot to see how vanilla, cocoa, and nutmeg are grown. Look for the Kalaripayattu centers in the town to witness the world's oldest martial art in its purest form. The best time to visit is from October to February, when the weather is cool and the animals are most active. Wayanad. Wayanad is a rugged mountainous district in northern Kerala that feels like a world unto itself. It is home to the Edakal Caves, which contain Neolithic rock carvings dating back over 6,000 years, providing a rare glimpse into the prehistoric roots of the region. The landscape is a mix of dense forests, coffee plantations, and mist-shrouded peaks like Kembra. Wayanad is culturally significant for its indigenous tribal populations who have lived in harmony with the forest for generations. The district represents the wild, untamed side of Kerala, far removed from the manicured tea gardens of the south. Visiting Wayanad is an adventure for the senses. You will feel the cool spray of the Suchipara waterfalls and the damp, cool air inside the ancient caves. The scent of coffee blossoms fills the valleys during the flowering season, a sweet and heady aroma. Hiking to the heart-shaped lake on Kembra Peak offers a panoramic view that captures the vastness of the Western Ghats. For a cultural insight, seek out the Uravu Bamboo Village, where locals create incredible handicrafts, sustaining traditional skills. A hidden detail to look for is the ancient Jain temple at Sultan Bathery, which Tipu Sultan once used as an armory. The best local food here is the Wayanad chicken curry, made with locally grown black pepper and coconut milk. Perfect for a rainy afternoon. Varkala Beach. Varkala is the only place in southern Yuandeen, Kerala, where cliffs are found adjacent to the Arabian Sea. These Cenozoic sedimentary formation cliffs are a unique geological feature on the otherwise flat Kerala coast. Known as the Papanasam Beach, it has deep religious significance. Locals believe that a dip in these waters washes away all sins. Perched atop the cliff is the 2,000-year-old Janardana Swami Temple, a major pilgrimage site. Varkala represents the spiritual side of Kerala's coastline, blending the laid-back vibe of a traveler's haven with the solemnity of ancient Hindu traditions. The experience of Varkala is one of verticality. You walk along the narrow cliff-top path with the vast expanse of the ocean on one side and a bustling row of cafes, shops, and yoga studios on the other. The sound of crashing waves is constant, and at sunset, the entire cliff turns a brilliant shade of red. The air is salty and often carries the scent of burning incense from the nearby temple. Below the cliff, the beach is a mix of golden sand and black volcanic soil. For a practical tip, visit the natural springs that gush from the cliffside, which are said to have medicinal properties. Look for the Varkala Culture Centre for evening performances of Mohiniyattam, the dance of the enchantress. The local seafood, caught fresh and grilled with Malabar spices on the cliff front, is a must-try. Thiruvananthapuram. Trivandrum. As the capital city of Kerala, Thiruvananthapuram is a blend of royal history and modern governance. It is built on 7 hills and is home to the Padmanabhaswamy Temple, the DE, wealthiest religious institution in the world. The temple's architectural style is a fusion of Kerala and Dravidian influences, with a massive 7-tier gopuram. The city served as the seat of the Kingdom of Travancore, and its heritage is preserved in the Napier Museum and the Kuthira Malika Palace, known for its exquisite wood carvings of horses. For locals, the city is the intellectual and cultural heart of the state, hosting the International Film Festival of Kerala and numerous literary events. The experience of the capital is one of stately grace. You will see wide, tree-lined avenues and grand colonial buildings standing alongside bustling traditional markets like Shalai Bazaar. The air in the temple precinct is thick with the scent of jasmine garlands and sandalwood paste. You will hear the low hum of Vedic chants and the ringing of brass bells. Unlike the tourist-heavy beaches, the city feels grounded and authentic. For a hidden detail, visit the Observatory Hill for a view of the city's skyline at dusk. A visit isn't complete without trying the boli and palpayasam, a sweet lentil crepe served with creamy rice pudding, a signature dessert of the region's traditional feasts. The best time to explore is during the Onam festival, when the entire city is lit up and decorated with intricate flower carpets. Athiropili waterfalls, often referred to as the Niagara of India. Athiropili is the largest waterfall in Kerala, standing 80 feet tall. It is located on the Chalakudi River, which originates in the upper reaches of the Western Ghats. The falls are surrounded by the lush Sholayar forests, which are home to many endangered species, including the great Indian hornbill. Historically and culturally, the falls have been a site of great ecological importance, and the successful struggle to protect this area from a dam project is a point of pride for Keralan environmentalists. The falls are also a favorite for Indian filmmakers, providing a majestic cinematic backdrop for many iconic movies. Standing near the base of Athiropili, you feel the raw power of nature. The sound is a deafening roar that vibrates in your chest, and the mist creates a constant, cool drizzle on your skin. The air smells of wet stone and crushed jungle leaves. To get the full experience, take the forest trek down to the foot of the falls, where the sight of the massive curtain of water crashing into the rocks is truly awe-inspiring. Look for the 4 species of hornbills that frequent the canopy. They are a rare sight and a sign of a healthy ecosystem. The best time to visit is immediately after the monsoon, September to November, when the river is at its most ferocious. Nearby, the Vazachal Falls offer a more serene experience, with the river flowing over a series of rocky steps. Kumarakom is a cluster of little islands on the Vembanad Lake, part of the Kutanad region. It was originally a small fishing village that was transformed into a plantation hub by an Englishman named George Alfred Baker in the 19th century. He reclaimed the land and planted rubber and coconut trees, creating a unique landscape of man-made canals and lush groves. Today, Kumarakom is a premier destination for luxury ecotourism and is home to a world-famous bird sanctuary. Culturally, the village represents the slow, sustainable pace of life that Kerala is famous for, where the community lives in harmony with the seasonal flooding of the lake. The experience in Kumarakom is one of absolute tranquility. You wake up to the sound of birds, herons, egrets, and kingfishers from the nearby sanctuary. The water here is calmer than in Alleppey, and the canals are narrower, shaded by overhanging hibiscus and frangipani. The air is soft and humid, smelling of blooming lilies and fresh lake water. You can spend your afternoon learning the art of choir making from local women or trying your hand at bow and arrow fishing, a traditional technique. A hidden detail to look for is the ancient Pathiramanal Island, accessible only by boat, which is a haven for migratory birds from Siberia. For a local taste, try karimin polichatu, pearl spot, fish marinated in spices and grilled in a banana leaf, which is the culinary pride of the Vembanad Lake region. Bekal Fort, located in the northernmost district of Kasaragod, Bekal Fort is the largest and best preserved fort in Kerala. Built in the 17th century by Shivappa Nayaka of Keladi, it is uniquely shaped like a giant keyhole. Unlike many Indian forts, Bekal was not a center of administration, but a purely military structure, designed with zigzag entrances and trenches to thwart invaders. Its strategic location on the coast gave it a commanding view of the Arabian Sea. Culturally, Bakal represents the martial history of northern Kerala and its resistance against colonial powers, having been occupied by Tipu Sultan and later the British. The experience at Bakal is one of windswept grandeur. Walking along the massive laterite walls, you feel the spray of the sea and the steady pulse of the waves hitting the rocks below. The view from the observation tower, which looks out over the coastline, is one of the most beautiful in India. The air is sharp with salt, and the heat of the sun is tempered by a constant ocean breeze. The fort is surrounded by a beautifully landscaped beach park, making it a popular spot for local families at sunset. Look for the underground tunnels that lead to the sea, and the ancient temple and mosque located just outside the fort walls, showcasing the region's religious harmony. The best time to visit is in the late afternoon, when the golden light hits the red stone of the fort, creating a stunning contrast against the blue sea. Muzapilangad Drive-In. Beach Muzapilangad is a unique coastal stretch in Kannur and is Asia's longest drive-in beach. Stretching over 4 kilometers, the sand is so firm that you can drive a car or ride a bike directly along the water's edge. Historically, this region was a key part of the Malabar Coast's trade network, but today it is a symbol of modern Kerala's love for adventure and the outdoors. It has been featured as one of the best driving beaches in the world. For locals, it is a favorite weekend getaway, where the thrill of driving meets the serenity of the ocean. The experience of Muzapilangad is an exhilarating mix of speed and sea spray. Hearing the engine rev against the backdrop of crashing waves is a unique sensation. The beach is protected by a crescent of black rocks, which keeps the currents gentle and the water shallow, making it perfect for swimming. The air smells of the sea and the faint aroma of kalamakaya, mussels, being fried at nearby shacks. These mussels are harvested from the offshore rocks and are a local delicacy. During the annual beach festival in April, the area comes alive with paragliding and water sports. A hidden detail is the nearby Dharmadam Island, which you can walk to during low tide through the shallow sea. It is a surreal experience to walk across the ocean floor to a secluded, uninhabited island. Silent Valley National Park. Silent Valley is one of the last undisturbed tracts of southwestern Ghats mountain rainforests and tropical moist evergreen forests in India. Its history is legendary. In the 1970s, it was the site of the Save Silent Valley movement, a landmark environmental campaign that successfully stopped a hydroelectric project to save the valley's unique ecosystem. The park is named Silent because of the perceived absence of cicadas, though it is actually teeming with life, including the rare lion-tailed macaque. For Keralites, Silent Valley is a symbol of environmental consciousness and the victory of nature over industrialization. The experience in Silent Valley is one of profound isolation and purity. As you trek through the dense canopy, the sunlight filters down in dappled beams, and the air is noticeably cooler and more oxygen-rich. You hear the Kunti River rushing through the valley, its water so clear you can see every stone on the bed. The scent is one of ancient earth, moss and rotting leaves, the smell of a forest that has remained unchanged for millions of years. To visit, you must take a forest department jeep from Mukali and then trek to the watchtower. Look for the giant ferns and orchids that cling to the trees. The silent nature of the park makes every sound, the snap of a twig or the call of a hornbill, feel amplified. It is a place for those who seek to disconnect from the modern world and witness nature in its rawest form. Thrissur. Vadakunathan Temple. Thrissur is the cultural capital of Kerala, and its heart is the Vadakunathan Temple, a classic example of Kerala's indigenous architectural style. This ancient temple, dedicated to Lord Shiva, sits atop a hillock in the center of the city and is surrounded by a massive stone wall. It is famous for its exquisite murals and wood carvings. The city is best known for the Thrissur Puram, the most spectacular temple festival in India, featuring a procession of caparisoned elephants and a world record-breaking percussion ensemble. For locals, Thrissur is the custodian of Kerala's traditional arts, from percussion to classical theatre. The experience of Thrissur is one of vibrant energy and devotion. Even on a quiet day, the area around the Tekinkadu Maidan, the park surrounding the temple, is a hub of activity. You will hear the rhythmic patterns of the chenda drums being practiced by local students.
The air around the temple is filled with the smell of burning oil lamps and camphor, Inside the temple, the silence is heavy and sacred, with the massive ghee-covered lingam representing centuries of offerings. For a cultural insight, visit the Kerala Sangeetha Nadaka Academy to see rehearsals of traditional plays. Look for the Anacotta Elephant Yard in nearby Garuvia to see how these majestic animals are cared for. The best food experience here is the Thrissa biryani, which is lighter and less spicy than the Malabar version, but packed with flavour from local short grain rice. Kovalamkavalam was a quiet fishing village until the 1930 seconds, when it was discovered by the Maharani of Travancore, who built a summer palace here. In the 1970s, it became a major stop on the hippie trail, transforming it into an international beach destination. It is famous for its 3 adjacent crescent beaches, with the Lighthouse Beach being the most iconic due to the red and white striped lighthouse that stands on a rocky promontory. Kovalam is significant as the birthplace of Kerala's modern tourism industry and remains a world-class centre for authentic Ayurvedic healing and yoga. The experience in Kovalam is quintessential beach bliss. You can climb the 140 steps of the lighthouse for a panoramic view of the coastline, where the turquoise water meets the deep green of the coconut groves. The air is warm and carries the scent of coconut oil and grilled prawns. You will hear the constant roar of the Arabian Sea and the shouts of fishermen launching their catamarans into the surf. The Hawa Beach is particularly beautiful in the early morning when the local fishing community pulls in their nets. For a practical narrative, seek out an Ayurvedic massage at one of the certified centers. It is a tradition that has been practiced here for millennia. A hidden detail is the Vision Jam Marine Aquarium nearby, which houses a rare collection of tropical fish. The best time to visit is from November to February for the perfect balance of sun and sea breeze. Palakkad Fort, also known as Typus Fort, is a massive laterite structure built by Hyder Ali in 1766. It was later modified by the British and served as a crucial military outpost during the Anglo-Mysore Wars. The fort is situated in the middle of the Palakkad Gap, a natural break in the Western Ghats that has historically served as a gateway between Kerala and the plains of Tamil Nadu. Culturally, the fort represents the fusion of military history and local community life. Today, its grounds are used for public gatherings, and it houses a small temple and a children's park. The experience at Palakkad Fort is a journey through time. You walk across a bridge over a deep moat that still holds water, entering through massive wooden gates. Inside, the thick walls block out the noise of the surrounding city, creating a pocket of silence. You can see the old stables and the Rapati open-air auditorium. The air is slightly drier here than on the coast, smelling of sun-warmed stone and jasmine from the Hanuman temple located within the walls. For a hidden detail, look for the ancient carvings on the inner walls that depict local myths and legends. The fort is best explored in the early morning or late evening, when the shadows are long and the heat is manageable. After exploring, walk to the nearby Kota Maidanam to watch a local cricket match, a perfect example of how history and modern life coexist in Kerala.